And we begin with that breaking news. Tonight, a Kentucky man faces an attempted murder charge after shooting an officer in Putnam County, Tennessee.
Floyd Ray Cook is now on the TBI's top 10 most wanted list, but remains on the run. We have team coverage of the manhunt, which is still ongoing tonight in Burkesville, Kentucky. Let's start with News Channel 5's Jason Lamb with more on the search for the 62-year-old. Jason.
That's right, that manhunt started back up in full force again early this morning after police stormed a house that they thought Cook was in, but it turns out he was nowhere to be seen. So here's what you need to know right now if you live in the area. Police are still searching for Cook, but they cannot say with certainty whether Cook is still in the area. They urge that he could very well be, and of course, he is armed and dangerous.
It is a remote area where he was last seen, you know, deep hills, deep hollows, surrounded by the lake. So, you know, it could possibly, he's already gone, but we've got to look at it like he's still here.
We are told U.S. Marshals and the FBI are assisting in this case since Cook crossed state lines. Schools in Cumberland County have been closed today because of the danger Cook poses, and the superintendent says he'll make a decision early tomorrow morning about keeping schools closed tomorrow, so stay tuned here for that decision. Again, police say Cook is armed and dangerous, wanted for the attempted murder of an all-good police officer. If you see him, do not try and do anything yourself.
Call 911 and the state police will be there immediately. You know, this guy has shot a police officer, which that is probably one of the worst things that can happen. You know, he will shoot anybody.
We will be in Kentucky throughout the evening as this manhunt continues. We'll also check in with the superintendent of the Cumberland County, Kentucky schools once again to get an update on the school situation for tomorrow. That's all coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. Reporting in Cumberland County, Kentucky, Jason Lamb, News Channel 5.
Thanks, Jason. All of this has left residents on high alert, especially those who live in the area where Floyd Cook was spotted last night. Now, to give you some perspective, Cook's shootout with police on Saturday happened at the end of Franklin Spears Road, as you can see. He then took off into the woods and was last seen Sunday about a mile away after emerging from the woods and pulling a gun on a teenager. Chris Conte continues our team coverage. Chris.
And Vicki, as we enter our third night now where darkness is falling over Cumberland County and the whereabouts of Floyd Cook are unknown and he is still on the run. And those perhaps most concerned out here this evening are the folks who live near Hendricks Creek Marina. That is the area where the 62-year-old was last seen with a gun.
Yes, and it's normally quiet.
The only thing these deep Kentucky woods couldn't hide today
You don't know if he will, try to come out of the woods because
was the fear Darlene Spears and her neighbors were feeling.
every time the dog would bark, I'll look outside, and I've kept the blinds closed. And
Darlene and her husband were inside their Burkesville home Saturday night when they saw lights, then heard sirens.
then all of a sudden we started hearing all the gun shots, there was gunfire, and it just kept going and going.
Those shots, officials say, were fired by Floyd Cook as he fled authorities and took off into the thickly wooded area around Dale Hollow Lake.
But it is very rough terrain, and there's a lot of like little bluffs that you can get under, little caves.
Hours earlier, Cook had shot a police officer in Allgood.
Well, we know he went down that road, and it kind of curves off and goes up toward that way.
What worries Darlene most now is that Floyd Cook is alone, cold, desperate, and somewhere near her home.
And you don't know where he's going to come out at, just like, just came right out of the woods on that teenage boy.
He never said a word. He just had his hand out, said stop.
That teenage boy is Justin Bowles.
And this dude just walked out of the woods, and he was just telling us to stay there, but then he pulled a gun, and then we just left.
Justin was visiting his dad when Floyd Cook appeared from the woods last night. For 15 hours, police then tried coaxing the 62-year-old out of a home on Dolesworth Road, only to discover this morning that he wasn't there.
So I'd say he's pretty desperate now, and I know he's got to be cold and hungry because it's been raining.
And so the only thing more elusive than Floyd Cook right now is a sense of security this community no longer feels.
Well, I hope they catch him,
Because Floyd Cook is still on the run tonight, residents here in Burkesville are urged to lock their doors and stay inside if at all possible. If you do see Floyd Cook, call 911 immediately. Do not approach him. He is considered armed and incredibly dangerous. We're live in Burkesville, Kentucky this evening. Chris Conte, News Channel 5.
Thanks, Chris. And keep it right here on News Channel 5. We have crews working to bring you the very latest information on the Kentucky manhunt around the clock.